shoot, I didn't want to get embarrassed, guarding,
right.
Guarding these guards. So, I would just try my hardest to, move my feet and keep up with them. And then I'm like, nah, I could do this.
Wait, can I say,
Pistons fans, welcome back to the official Detroit Pistons podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Darius. I got our big fella right here, the center, the 6'8" center. Played a little power forward in his career, a little bit. First round draft pick, 16th pick in the draft. Definitely a leader on our team. Hangs his hat on defense. One of our defensive anchors, man. Isaiah Beef Stew Stewart. What up, though?
Man, what it do?
What's good? What's good?
Man, it's going.
How'd you get the name Beef Stew? Let's kick it off like that.
Well, I got that name from a fan who came up with that name. He put together me loving oxtails, which is beef, and then the last name Stew, so Beef Stew, and it just kind of took off. Everybody started calling me Beef Stew.
Nice. Yes. Mr. Put the dubs in the chat.
Come on, man, put the dubs in the chat.
How's that feel like, because you've been here, man? You're like, one of the longest tenured Pistons, on this current roster right now. I don't know if the guys, I know they call Tobias maybe Unc. Mm-hmm. He's probably OG, but where do you fit into that nickname category?
I fit in there somewhere. I don't know if it's
Big Bro.
Yeah, Big Bro. Unc. But I don't. Well, not Unc. Don't call me Unc. But but Big Bro for sure. They know I've been here. Through everything. Through the ups and downs, and now we're getting a chance to. Build something special. It feels great.
Yeah, I mean, and you definitely put in the work. That's one thing the city love about you, man. Like, we're a hard-working city. We seen you put in the work. Even your rookie year, I think you with all-rookie second team.
Yes.
You had so many blocks that year. But it was crazy because it was that COVID year, what I mean, where they had the fake crowd noise and whether you scored or, got a block shot. You didn't really get the fan reaction. But to get that accolade right now, man, I mean, from the fans. Now, how does that feel, just over that time?
Oh, man, it feels great. It feels great. You feel a connection with the fans, especially when you make like a big block or, not only that, just, me, I recognize fans, that have been here, through it all, especially the past 4 years and, seeing them still here and, show great support, it's really dope.
For sure. Like your first year, it was you and Mason Plumlee playing the center, I think. Mm-hmm. After that, who came in? Actually, you was the guy after that.
Yeah. In
2021. You was the guy, and then you got JD, backing you up and, leading the team as well.
Yes.
How has his addition been, effective for our team?
Oh, man. He's a dog, man. He's a monster. Like he's a real-life tank. And, he's young.
Yeah.
He's young and, he's still growing. And, his ceiling, the potential he has is just, limitless. So.
And you guys, I got a stat for you guys. One of two pair of teammates this season with at least 70 blocks and 100 offensive rebounds. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that. But, hey, that makes sense. That's a dog pound right there. That's what we do.
That's what's up. You also lead the team and ranked 13th in the NBA with 82 blocks, north of 82 blocks this season, man. Just talk about the hard work that you put in, man, from day one.
Yeah.
Did you get any advice from – because when you first got drafted, I'm like, oh, we got baby Ben Wallace.
Yeah.
Did you get any advice from Ben coming into the league?
I connected with Ben, a few times my rookie year. It was a COVID year. Obviously going to second year. I reached out to Big Ben, asking for, any tips he can give me. Watching some of his film, his tape. You got to study the greats that, come before you. And, Big Ben paved the way for, undersized bigs.
Yeah.
Standing up strong in the paint, standing up against, the big fellas, 7-footers. So, it's a lot, I took away from his game and, from watching his film.
Studying some of the, past greats as well, whether it's Patrick Ewing, I know you probably didn't grow up in that era, or Dikembe Mutombo.
Yes.
I see you waving the finger a lot.
Oh, yeah.
But just talk about, what are some of the things that you picked up from their games?
Obviously I wasn't around when Patrick, Patrick Ewing was playing.
Yeah.
Obviously, but growing up, I watched a lot of highlights. I wore 33 because of Patrick Ewing. Obviously that Jamaican, connection. My dad being from Jamaica, but I watched a lot of his highlights. As a younger kid, and how he brought the mid-range jump shot into the game, and obviously you see me wagging the finger.
Yeah.
That's a tribute to 𝗙𝗢𝗟𝗓𝗪 and his shot blocking skills, and it just kind of came naturally. So,
Yeah,
for sure.
Definitely hanging your hat on defense, and defense is contagious, man. You see AT, guarding the perimeter. You see Ron Holland. Ron, bring the music. You see Ron Holland playing good defense. Even Simone had a key block the other game. And just talk about how infectious and contagious defense is with the team right now.
Oh man, it's definitely contagious. When you have someone working hard and doing everything they can on the defensive end to give the team more more possessions, everybody feeds into it.
Yeah.
Everybody feeds into it, and everybody starts to get after it, and then you kind of see how it kind of just trickled down the line.
Yep, and then I see you guys giving out the WWE type belt after the game.
Oh, yeah.
Is that for like offensive player of the game or just?
That's just for like overall dog player of the game. Most gritty player. And then also, you can go out and have a night where you just put BTA to somebody.
Okay, belt to okay.
Yep. So like you go out, you take care of business, and you really propel us. So it can go a few different ways.
Do you think y'all should have like separately, maybe like a defensive chain? You know what I mean, like.
No, I don't. No,
Okay.
no. Yeah, I think we good with that belt. I think we good with that belt. Every game it just kind of feeds into like different reasons why someone get the belt.
Yeah, man. So for you, it's been new coach, new teammates. Now you got a new GM, new coach. Just talk about what Trajan has brought to the organization, because you've been here,
Yes.
you know what I'm saying, and he was new this season. But just talk about some of the things that he's brought to the organization.
Oh yeah, he Trajan brought a lot of positive change to the organization. As you can see, the personnel staff, he's brought in to help us. He does everything he can, that he feels will benefits us, and everything he's been doing exactly that. Benefit us, on and off the court. So hats off to him, and he's been doing a great job.
Nice. And then even with JB, what was some of the first conversations you had with Coach Bickerstaff?
Defense. One thing he spoke to me about is how he feel I would thrive with being back at the 5 and just being who I am. Gritty, bringing that dog in the paint, locking the paint down. So, me and him, that's where we hit it off at, right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are like some good defensive drills that you kind of work on like to this day?
I just watch a lot of film. For me, I feel like a lot of it is mental. I feel like most of it is mental. So I watch a lot of film, knowing what positions I have to be in, how I got to guard someone. And then also, just having heart.
Yeah, absolutely. Talk about Cade Cunningham, man. Like, you seeing that guy as a rookie. You seen Deuce come in and put up some numbers lately. But just talk about the evolution of Cade from being a rookie to now.
Oh, yeah, man. He's been growing so much. And, he continues to just, improve his game. Watching him, as a rookie to now, one thing to me is like just his pace, how he slows the game down. Nobody can ever speed him up, and he just does what he wants to do out there, and it's fun watching it. It's fun watching it just because it's like, you give him like a paintbrush and he just starts to paint. Yeah.
It's got to be fun, like catching them lobs too, man. Y'all got the most dunks in the season.
JD catching them lobs.
Yeah.
JD and AT catching the lob. We joke about it. We always tell JD, get up, go catch it, and Deuce just throws them, and it's fun watching JD just jump and just catch them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about the bench mob, man. And like, what do you guys do? Like, so during the game, you got the intro, starters come out, they out there, get ready for the jump ball. But then you see like the bench mob kind of huddle up at the bench. Like, what's that? What is that? What is that conversation?
Oh, yeah, it's just our own little vibe. Bees does his thing. You know what? I'm going to keep what we say a secret.
Okay.
I ain't going to spit it out because that's our energy. You know
Okay.
what I mean? So, but, we say our little thing and, start to create that energy. And, we don't sit down until we score. But, the main thing is just, giving that first unit as much energy as we can and, just being ready to go into the game and, do our job and take it from there.
What's like your pregame like warm up ritual? And you have like a on court, off court personality. Like when do you turn it on? Is it when you get in the car? Is it when you walking through the hallway for rivals or?
No, it's just for me. It's just when I play basketball. Off the court. I just you putting on a different cap. Pretty much off the court. I'm just doing my thing, and then when it's time to play basketball, I'm zeroed into playing basketball, and that flip just turns on.
Hit that switch, we ready to go.
Exactly.
Is any pregame meals you like to kind of get into before the game, or?
Not really. I like a good home cooked meal from my wife.
Some oxtails.
Some oxtails. Oxtails heavy on the game day though, boy.
Okay.
But usually a home cooked meal from my wife, and I just pretty much just chill out to the game.
What about I know music. You like Jamaican vibes, because I know when I'm in the back media room and I hear the music, I say Stu must be out there warming up.
Oh yeah, for sure. Reggae music. Growing up, my dad used to have his his set, and he used to throw bashment parties. And
who?
Bashment parties.
What's that?
You never heard of a bashment party?
No.
Yeah, it's like a Jamaican thing.
Okay.
Like a bashment party. But he used to throw bashment parties, and he used to be a DJ, and he named his set Isaiah the Prophet. So he named his set after me, and stuff. So just growing up, I've always listened to a lot of reggae music, and it just gets me in a good mood, and get me fired up to play.
Nah, same here as well. Like, me being a DJ as well, like, I love a lot of music, but man, like that reggae music, Jamaican music, especially when I've been to Jamaica a few times. So like to go out there and get some jerk chicken or some oxtails or just be a part of the vibe, it's definitely, it's definitely the way.
Oh yeah, for sure.
What do you love about being out in Jamaica?
It's just a great vibe. I have a lot of, family history in Jamaica. And that's a strong bloodline for me. I could sit here and talk all day about it, but I was raised by a Jamaican father, and I was always around that Jamaican side of the family. So it helped shape me and helped me to be who I am today. So
that's what's up. So Dad's Jamaican. You guys lived in Rochester, New York. How'd you find your way to Washington College, University?
So Coach Hop was at the University of Syracuse at the time, which was like 45 minutes away, 50 minutes away. And then he went out to Washington. But he recruited me since I was a freshman. So he used to drive up to Rochester. And
Freshman in high school?
Freshman in high school.
Okay.
And, check out my practices. And we kind of built a bond and relationship from there. And, we just kept it. And, we went out to UW. I felt great about that, playing for him and the relationship we had. So that's how I decided to go there.
Man, how important is that bond and relationship? Because we were talking before, like my son is being recruited for football. Yeah. And we've been to different colleges and universities, but some schools you kind of feel like, oh yeah, I think they want me, and another school you like, oh yeah, like they really want us. But was it a situation like, yeah, I know they want me, I'm going out here?
Oh yeah, 100%. Obviously, I had other schools that recruited me, but with the University of Washington, that's where I felt the most love, and just know that, like I'm good here. Have a great relationship with the head coach, and I just felt great about it.
What about like travel for your dad? Was he like flying out to the games back and forth, just catching it on TV?
No, he took a train.
What?
Oh yeah, so on my visit he flew out there, but my dad not a fan of planes, so he ended up taking a 3-day train back home. But So, yeah, that's how he traveled to come see me.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't think of train, but that is
Oh, yeah.
a long travel. But just talk about you being a dad now, and you know some of the life lessons that you got from your dad, and you obviously passing on to your son. How is being a dad just you know kind of shaped you right now?
Oh, yeah.
Reshape.
It continued to change me. And, you know, I'm learning things, you know, about myself. And, you know, sometimes it feels surreal. You know, I look at my son, I'm like, man, like, you know, I'm a father. Because, you know, growing up, I used to look at my dad like Superman. You know what I mean? Because he used to do everything for us. So, you know, being a father now and, you know, being younger, you know, hearing the lessons my dad used to tell me, they used to get annoying, you know, hearing him repeat himself, but then, you know, now I understand. So.
Look, my son over there too.
Yeah.
He looking at me like, you already said that. I'm like, man, it's gonna hit you one day. You're gonna need it.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna keep feeding it to you.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm
For
saying?
sure.
Back to basketball, man. Let's talk about, you know, just how fun the locker room is right now, man.
Yeah.
You know, winning games or even after a loss. But it just seems like the locker room is so much fun from the time you guys walk in, you know, arriving to the arena. I got your pre-game dances or whatever y'all do coming out the locker room. But just talk about how fun the locker room is right now.
Man, it's a great vibe in the locker room. Great vibe, great energy. You know, we're always dancing, listening to music. We're just having fun. Just like that. We're just having fun.
Who would be the funniest player in the locker room?
J2, for sure. JD, man, for sure.
Cracking a lot of jokes?
Man, cracking a lot of jokes. This is energy. You don't know what to expect. You know what I mean? Definitely JD.
Who has the best playlist musically?
JD.
What's his vibe? We haven't had him on yet, but what's his vibe?
Well, a little bit of everything. You know, he can hit you with the old school tunes, the R&B. Shoot, he even hit me with, you know, some reggae music. I'm like, man, I didn't know you listened to that. So he got a pretty good playlist.
For sure. Man, you've been in the city, man, you know, what, 4 or 5 years now? And the city showed you a lot of love, man. And, like, you know, obviously, you know, because you bring that grit, that energy, that toughness. And we're a hard-working city, bro. We like to see that on the court, but you bring that. But how's the vibe, man, for you, just feeling that love from the city?
Man, it's been great because I feel connected to the city. You know, I know I can relate. You know, I can relate to the city, you know, people here in Detroit. So, you know, that's been great. That's been great. I feel a great connection and just want to continue to build that.
You a kitchen guy or you a chef guy?
I was on the grill this past summer a lot.
The grill?
Yeah. I was on the grill. I grilled a bunch of stuff. So I like the grill. You know what I mean? I like, you know, preparing stuff on the grill. You just, you know, those out there who could relate, you know, when you get a grill and you on your grill, it's just a certain feeling about it. So.
You got the gas grill or you go with the charcoal? Make sure the charcoal gray? What we doing?
No, I got gas.
Okay.
I got gas.
I
I don't got time for the charcoal.
All that lighter fluid on there.
Yeah. Yeah.
You wear an apron? Is it you go out there like I'm
Nope.
big chef?
Big chef. Nice weather. I'm out there. Got the tunes playing and just, you know, in and out the house, checking the grill, checking the timer and stuff like that.
You ever invite the guys over and it's beef stew's oxtail night at the house?
Oh yeah, I definitely invited the guys over a couple times when my dad came to cook some oxtails. And you ask them, they ain't leave nothing on the plate, not even the rice grain. So that plate, them plates was clean. So
I'm pretty sure you was like, man, I really don't want to share these oxtails because they my dad's. But
that's what I'm saying.
you know, but since we teammates, we brothers, you know, we gonna do this. Let's talk about the dog pound, man. Who's all in the dog pound?
Man, we got me, J2, Ron, Paul Reed,
AT?
Asar. I
Okay.
can't forget AT, dog.
Okay.
He's a dog. That's, man.
Is it any
dog right
like
there.
type of initiation you gotta do to get in the dog pound? You gotta get a steal, a block, something, or
Well, you just kind of recognize who's a dog, you know, who don't mind doing the dirty work. So, you know, once you see that, they dog pound. So,
what is your relationship with AT?
me and AT got a great relationship. You know, he got that Jamaican bloodline in him as well. But I respect the way AT plays. Especially his job. Taking on assignments.
Yeah.
That's a hard thing to do, and the way he does it and go on about it. It's special, and I love watching it. I love watching it because, he ain't afraid to mix it up, get dirty, and I respect that so much.
When they play Houston, you guys play Houston. I'm like, the brothers finna go at it.
Uh-huh.
Do you see any type of?
Well, I could definitely see like how locked in AT was that game. Obviously you playing against your brother. I don't know what that feels like, but shoot, you can tell he didn't care about the brother thing. Like I want to smash you. I want to get this win. And we're not friends. We're not family right now.
Yeah,
so,
right.
Mm-hmm.
All that's out the window, bro.
Yeah.
What do you think was the turning point of this season? Was it preseason? Was it somewhere in the middle of the season or?
Yeah. That's a good question. I can't really pinpoint, but one thing I can say is in the beginning of the season, I felt like things were still figuring it out. Figuring out some stuff. And then it was the West Coast trip. It was the early West Coast trip when we were on the West Coast.
Yeah.
And we were just beating up on some teams, and we took that momentum and we didn't look back.
That trip right there. I ain't gonna lie, man. Y'all kept everybody up.
Mm-hmm.
Normally, the games start kind of late for us. But we they winning. Oh, you know what I mean? It was for us, but I think for me personally, I want to say it was the first New York Knicks game y'all played in NYC.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw, I was like, yo.
That game too, yeah. Oh, yeah. Especially, going into Madison Square Garden playing against a good, a good Knicks team.
Yeah.
And, being able to pull out, the win, that was good.
What is it about playing in the Garden? You see guys, Cade go off. You see, good defensive stops. But what is it about playing in Madison Square?
It's just a feeling. The feeling of playing in Madison Square Garden, knowing the history, the players, the players that come and watch the game. It's just the whole thing to it. Mm-hmm.
Do you have any memorable blocks?
Oh, yeah.
He said, oh, yeah.
Against Atlanta, the block against Jalen Johnson. In Boston, the block against Porzingis. A lot of blocks. I done had some possessions where, I get a block, then the very next play I get another block. Kind of just controlling the tempo of the game. And I feel like you control the game when you do things like that. When you're able to, block, you're able to put a seal on the rim, no one can get a shot in.
Yeah.
I feel like you're controlling the game, helping giving our team more possessions. So that's what I like to do. I like to control the tempo of the game. And for me, defense allowed me to do that.
For sure. And even being in a pick and roll situation on defense, you may get a guard. We seen you lock up some guards. Is it any guards? Because you played with some greats, D Rose, you got Reggie Jackson, obviously Cade in practice now. But has it been any guard that kind of taught you, how to get around that pick and now I got to defend on this island?
I'm not sure if there's a certain guard, but to be honest, I was kind of just thrown into the fire. When we started switching, and I didn't want to get embarrassed. Guarding,
right.
Guarding these guards. So, I would just try my hardest to, move my feet and keep up with them. And then I'm like, nah, I could do this. It was just for me more so just, just having that pride. Like I'm gonna try to guard you, as best as I can, and I'm gonna do that every single time.
Yeah, man, you lead the NBA with blocks off the bench, man. How important is it for you just to stay ready, man? You seeing the flow of the game before you get in the game, but how important is it to stay ready?
Man, it's very important to stay ready because you never know, when your number is called, and you gotta be ready. You gotta be ready when it's your time to check in the game, and you just want to make sure you're out there, impacting the game in a positive way. So, especially for me, I get a chance to see, in this role I'm in now, I get a chance to see, how the game is flowing and, what I need to do when I go in.
Sweet. Let's talk about Stewart in the community, man. I know you big at back home. You got the Isaiah Stewart Resource Center. Some initiatives you definitely have done around the city. Thank you for that as well. But just talk about how does that make you feel to give back to the area that you're from?
Oh yeah, it feels great. It feels great to give back to, where I've came from, and a place that helped shape me. The Isaiah Stewart Learning Center. Back then it was just God's vision, learning center, and it taught me a lot. That program was very important to me growing up. Obviously, with tutoring and learning more in the classroom, but to me, most importantly, was that meal. Because that meal, obviously, my dad would, be working, and that meal was just important, and just having that support, as a young kid, that program helped steer me and keep me in the right direction.
Yeah.
It didn't allow me to, fall off and trickle into doing, else things. So,
man, let's go back to your high school days. Did you play any other sports?
I mean, in high school, I was just straight basketball. Yeah.
Any other sports just as a kid?
Well, I started off with boxing. I really had a passion for boxing, and I was being coached by Coach Johnson, who coached a lot of great boxers, but I really had a passion for boxing, and I really started to dive into it, and then I found basketball. I was the tallest in each grade, and my classmates used to be so competitive about who was the best, and I'm the tallest in the class, and I didn't like them saying even though I'm tall, I'm not the best. So I just kind of just dove into basketball, and it really became fun. Those little gym class where you hoop for a little 30 minutes, and then I kind of just fell in love with basketball and went that route.
Boxing, do you still train now? A little bit?
No, I don't. Life is busy now.
Yeah.
For me, but when I was younger, I really did have a passion for it. It went boxing, soccer, and then I really fell into basketball.
Let's talk about playoff push, man. How's it feel to be on that journey? And
Yeah.
fans are excited about it as well. And just coming from where you came from, that COVID year, and just going through, different teammates and different coaches. But just talk about, man, that playoff push right now.
Yeah. Oh man, this playoff push feels great. It's the first time in my career where, I'm on a team that's making a playoff push. So. It feels great. It's also great to have guys here, on the team that's already been in that position, and that's what we're pushing for. So, for us, that's where our mentality is at right now.
I think I saw B's post something about Tobias getting you guys some suits. Did you guys get fitted for suits?
Yeah. I mean, shout out to the ump for getting us fitted, with suits. I think that came around after we did our Black Excellence dinner.
Okay.
And then he's like, yeah, let's get the guys some suits. So, really appreciate him for that.
Any goals for the rest of the season?
Just continue to build on what we're doing here. I feel we're building something really special, and finish out very strong would be the goal, and that's all.
Man, what's the message to the fans right now who are, looking forward to this playoff push?
Yeah.
Feeling the energy that you guys are bringing every night.
Yeah.
But what's your message to the fans right now?
I would say to the fans, we appreciate you guys. We truly appreciate you guys, for sticking with us. And, you guys are, a huge part of this. And, you guys propel us and give us the energy to continue to do what we're doing on the court and keep up with it. So we thank you guys, and we're gonna continue to play our heart out, continue to play Detroit basketball for you guys.
Yeah, and continue to put the dubs in the chat.
Put them in the chat.
Isaiah Stewart, man, thanks for your
What's up?
time, my
No
guy.
problem, big dog.
Appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
Let's go.
Yeah.